The ESA, which if you don't know, this is the organization that used to run E3, has announced the Interactive Innovation Conference, or IICON, taking place in Las Vegas from April 27th to 30th, 2026. Not this year, but next year, okay? It has been pitched as an essential covening for change makers across industries. Companies attending include Amazon Games, Disney, Electronic Arts. I said convening. It's convening. I have no idea why I said that. It's convening. Sorry. Amazon Games, Disney, Electronic Arts, Epic Games, Microsoft, Nintendo of America, Sony Interactive Entertainment, Square Enix, Take-Two Interactive, Ubisoft, and Warner Brothers Games. An event where all these game publishers get together to showcase games. I feel like there used to be an event like that. Didn't there used to be a time and a place once a year where all of the game publishers got together and showed off all of their technology and their games? I feel like maybe there was a time where something like that happened. What was that called? I wonder what it was called. I think you get what I'm getting at here, right? So basically, people are saying this is just E3 reborn, but it doesn't make sense because E3 already is gone and no one wants it back. So what is this, and why have all these companies jumped on? Well, guess what? Some people are saying, is this E3 and is it moving to Vegas? But what other people are saying is, wait a minute, hold on. Sounds like Game Developers Conference, but for game publishers, not an E3 replacement, okay? So what does that mean? Basically, the reason that E3 failed, all right, is because E3 got greedy. E3 used to be an event that was based around the game developers and the game publishers getting together, showcasing their tech and their games, and then having the media come to that event, get a firsthand look at all of that, and be able to cover it and put that on the internet. Or in some cases, when they used to be TV networks, remember there actually used to be things like G4 TV, they would cover it live on TV, okay? And it worked. It absolutely worked. That 1 week of the year was incredibly exciting for everyone who was a gamer, right? We covered all of the great events and things that were going on at E3. But what ended up happening was that over the years, E3 became more watered down and changed. If you didn't know, originally, E3 was meant to be press only, meaning if you were actually a games journalist, you could get in and you could cover it, right? I got in 2012 as part of the Machinima Network on YouTube, okay? So I was able to cover E3 in person in 2012. The problem was, over time, E3 degraded itself, and basically, number one, everything that you saw in person at E3 could be seen on the internet anyway. All of the presentations, all of the things, you could just literally see them online moments after they happened. So what was the point in you being there in person? Pretty much nothing, right? Number two, E3 became a paid-for event. What I mean by that is they started actually selling tickets to E3, acting more like it was a convention that you could go and hang out with your friends and have a good time, rather than a serious press event to show off new tech and new games. And so over the years, E3 became this overbloated, overcrowded, commercialized thing that lost its way. So after a while, people were like, wait a minute. So I can learn everything you need to know that's at E3 by sitting at home. I don't have to spend any money, and I don't have to wade through endless crowds of thousands of fucking people who think that they're cool because they're at E3, rather than people who are there to actually cover it for the industry and spread information about games, right? So, yeah, that's the difference, that it completely degraded and fell apart. And now what it sounds like's happened is E3 got canceled, but they're going to try to essentially restart E3 as something called IICON. Can it work? I would say it could, but you have to get it back to what it used to be, right? You do. You have to get it back being to an event for press and media. If you literally let everyone in, it's going to fail. If you let every fucking influencer and person in, it's going to fail. You have to have it be prestigious again. You have to have it be the place to be, to know about what's coming in tech and games. You know, if they don't do it like that, quite frankly, it's not going to work. It's just going to be E3 flopping again. And I don't see the real point to that. And, you know, Rare Trick says it sounds pretty elitist. He's right. E3 always was elitist. You're absolutely correct, actually. But that was the point. That's why E3 was pertinent, because it wasn't for everyone, and it wasn't instant dissemination of all of the information across the internet. You kind of had to be there to know what was going on. And then those people that were there would relay that information to the internet and gave it meaning. If you just immediately put it all on the internet, why do you need to be there? To be honest, so I attended E3 in 2012, okay? And you could go back and watch all my footage on this channel from 2012. I made ridiculous amounts of videos when I was at E3, okay? But all the stuff that I covered, all right, basically was on the internet anyway. The only difference was I was adding my firsthand experience, having hands-on with some of the games. Like I played Resident Evil 6, Hitman Absolution, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. I saw some of Tekken Tag Tournament 2. I didn't play it, but I saw some of it. That was the first time they revealed Injustice. That was the first time they showed off the XCOM when XCOM was getting rebooted. So I give my firsthand experiences about it. But quite frankly, and I even said this at the show, I didn't really feel like it added much being there. I pretty much could have done the exact same coverage sitting at home, just watching the information on the internet. And in fact, after that, I never went back to E3. I could have, because when you're a YouTuber, all you got to do is prove that you basically have a business and that you have a following, and you can get into E3. It was not that hard. But after that 2012 time that I went, I never wanted to go back. I was like, there's no point. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of travel. It's expensive because you got to pay for a hotel and everything. What's the point if you don't really get anything out of it, you know? So after that 2012 visit, I was like, I don't ever want to go back. And I never did. And then E3 just faded away. So they need to find a reason for people to care about IICON. Will they find it? Right now, it sounds like they've got the developers back on board. They probably convinced them all. We're going back to the old formula, guys. We've canceled the E3 for all bullshit. People aren't going to be able to buy tickets. It'll be a showcasing of your stuff again. So they got them all on board. That's good. But the question is, will there be value in it? I don't know. I'm curious, right? I'm actually very curious. So let's follow this story. Let's see what happens. We're going to, in the next year, we're going to hear more information about it. This could be interesting. And by the way, it's in Vegas. And the thing is, apparently, for years, they were strongly trying to get E3 to move from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, and they just never got around to it, and then it failed, and so it ended. So now moving this to Vegas, would it have an impact? Don't know. Maybe, maybe not. You know, I'm interested in it. Here's the thing. What if I went there? What if I actually got in to IICON, and I was able to cover it on a daily basis, in person, sharing my impressions, taking video and putting it on the internet? I think it could be interesting. I haven't done anything like that in over a decade, right? But at the same time, is there going to be any added value of me being there and covering it in person to being at home and covering it? I don't know. I'm very curious. So I guess we'll see, and we'll go from there.